Almost daily at this point, President Trump has hinted that a U.S. land attack on Venezuela may be coming very soon. So now 3 Democratic senators and then 1 Republican have introduced a resolution aimed at stopping him. So for more on this, we are joined by senior fellow from the Foundation of the Defense of Democracies, Behnam Ben Taleblu, as well as senior research fellow at the Heritage Foundation and former Navy Pentagon staffer, Captain Brent Sadler. Gentlemen, good morning. Behnam, let me start with you on this. So we're going to show on our screen just a piece of this new War Powers resolution. So it was just submitted by Senators Schumer, Schiff, Paul, and Kaine. Its purpose is to, quote, direct the removal of United States armed forces from hostilities within or against Venezuela that have not been authorized by Congress, end quote. So the senators contend that a land attack equals a declaration of war, which they say can only be directed by an act of Congress. Please, Behnam, your thoughts on this.
Sure. Good morning. Great to be with you. Listen, let me begin with the fact that I'm not a lawyer, but still, nonetheless, I'm a proud American, born and raised. And Americans have all sorts of views on the original War Powers Resolution post-Vietnam when it was introduced. There's tons of national security lawyers who believe that that current resolution governing the period of time when the president has to notify Congress, I think it's a window of like 90 days. There's tons of national security lawyers who believe that it is actually unconstitutional and unfairly constrains the power of the executive. Nonetheless, I actually see what these senators are trying to do here. Some would say it's being too cute by half. I would say there's a way the president can actually try to spin this and actually talk to the Democratic caucus and say, it's unfair for you to distinguish between land, sea, and air operations. This would be used against a future Democratic president, and perhaps even to be able to talk to his base about how this can be spun to avoid a Libya-type scenario when the MAGA base actually does not want that at all, be it in Venezuela or anywhere else.
Yeah, Captain Sadler, I would love your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, Congress is by design in our Constitution to be the strongest of the 3 branches, but it's for decades now abrogated its responsibilities and its power. So, I mean, I welcome the fact that Congress, in a bipartisan way, might be trying to flex its muscles. I don't necessarily agree that this is the case to do that. Going after these drug cartels and putting them out of business, I think, is the right approach. Sinking their boats and I think perhaps intercepting their aircraft in international airspace will certainly have that effect over time. But again, there is a constitutional debate. There is a very rich discussion about the constitutionality of the War Powers Act writ large. But again, if in fact there's enough of a political will in Congress, put it to a vote and we'll see, and then play it out in the courts. But in the meantime, I think the pressure on the cartels is necessary.
Yeah, when it comes to sinking those boats, as you just mentioned, Behnam, yesterday, War Secretary Pete Hegseth saying that second strike on a drug boat that happened back in September was part of the, quote, fog of war. So today, the AP is now reporting that the Pentagon did know that there were survivors, but the second strike was deemed necessary to sink that boat. Just your thoughts on this, and how Pete Hegseth has handled this situation as well?
Well, actually, I think this is where the entire administration could avoid both legal and political pressure by being a bit more upfront with the American people about the intended target. Is it the cargo on the boat? Is it the actual traffickers? Or is it the capability the traffickers have to get their cargo, meaning the boats themselves? So is it the drug smugglers, or the vessels that help the drug smugglers smuggle the drugs? By creating a tiered system for the American public about what is the priority here, like are these particularly notorious drug smugglers, or is it there's any of these drugs are coming here, they can actually avoid a lot of this political drama that seems to be emerging. But nonetheless, because there has been this video that they have shared, plus of course the conversation about a double tap strike is always going to be both morally hot and politically hot. I don't see this issue dying anytime soon.
Yeah, well, Captain Sadler, I guess tapping into your experience both in the Navy and the Pentagon, what are your thoughts on this?
Could things have been handled better? I certainly think it should have been handled better by the Washington Post, and it's certainly by many of those in the Democrat Party that were raising this, because they should have taken a breath and tried to find out first what actually was the target, because when you're going to try to attack the legality, the law of armed conflict issues here, what the target was matters. And in this case, it was a boat, not the people. And I guess after 20 plus years of fighting terrorists in Afghanistan and Iraq and also in Yemen, going after the individual terrorist was the target. This is very different, and we're going after the platform. So the second missile strike then becomes very, I think, legally.
Yeah, very, very interesting stuff. The story is certainly not going away anytime soon. Captain Brent Sadler, Behnam Ben Taleblu, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.